video game crash of 1983 was when a market was exploding and companies decided to oversaturate it with low-quality products, exemplified more than anything in the game E.T. the Extraterrestrial on Atari 2600. People thought video game fans would buy anything, so they put out every shit they could think of in 5 minutes, and then people didn't buy. 2019 is the great crash of Hollywood. Dark Phoenix, Men in Black International, Terminator Dark Fate, Charlie's Angels, also Justice League a year earlier. Everything is crashing. Why? There are right-wing channels on YouTube who are telling you it's all down to politics, and they are not wrong. I do not support their political views, but they are not wrong, because what was happening before the crash is that during the years of George W. Bush, left-wing oriented media was extremely successful. So when President of the United States Donald Trump was elected, Hollywood decided to flood the market with low-quality left-wing products. What the right-wing YouTube channels are wrong about is that they claim this lost Hollywood half their audience. No, you do not fail so hard by only losing half your audience. They lost like 90% of their audience. When you put out shit like The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel and Dark Phoenix and Terminator Dark Fate, you do not just lose Republican voters, you do not just lose Donald Trump fans, you lose everyone. Because if you flood the market with extremely low quality products, with extremely bad movies, extremely poorly written movies, extremely poorly made movies, extremely poorly conceived movies, nobody is going to like it. The only people who are going to like it are like the small minority on the left who think they need to like everything that Republicans or right-wing people dislike, so they need to force themselves to pretend to like something because somebody else dislikes it, which is a very small group of very, very stupid people. And all the rest, they're seeing the shit movies for what they are. And in earlier incarnations like The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel, at least the paid critics try to pretend this is something good, this is saying something progressive, this really extremely low quality movie is saying something progressive, it has to be good. Yeah, nobody believed them. It's again, the right-wing channels are wrong saying that only half the population didn't believe them. 90% of the population didn't believe them. Everyone right-wing obviously didn't believe them, but everyone more on the left. So I was like, oh God, these movies are so shitty, so poor, so bad. There's no reason to support them. They claim to be on our side, but they're just shit. They're garbage. It's complete crap. And they saturate the market with that crap. Nobody wants to see that crap. And nobody did go to see crap like Dark Phoenix, like Men in Black International, like Terminator Dark Fate, like Charlie's Angel. It's just garbage. It's complete crap. They saturated the market with garbage because they thought everyone like on the left side of the spectrum would say like, if a movie is against Donald Trump, people are going to pay for it, even if the movie is complete crap. Unfortunately, if the movie is complete crap, nobody pays for it. Nobody pays for it. And all those movies bombed. If a movie is complete garbage, complete crap, nobody pays for it. Not just the Donald Trump fans not paying for it. Nobody pays for it. Nobody wants to see a crap movie. I work 40 hours a week. I don't want to spend my weekend paying for a crap movie. Nobody wants to pay to see a crap movie. Nobody. Nobody wants to see something like Dark Phoenix. Like, how god awful was that? Nobody wants to see that. And nobody wants to see crap like The Last Jedi or like Captain Marvel. Nobody. Yeah, but they completely saturated and overkilled the market with low quality crap products. And now the industry feels the effects of all these bombs, all that crap. And obviously, it's completely crashing. I mean, they tried it with TV shows too, like Batwoman, which is like, Batwoman, she's a lesbian woman who is like Batman except a lesbian woman. Who cares? And I'm like a really open-minded, progressive, liberal guy, and I see the premise of Batwoman. It's a lesbian woman who's like Batman but lesbian. So who gives a shit? What's the appeal? Oh, it's like Batman except a lesbian woman. What? Like, that's your selling point? It's like Batman except a lesbian woman? Wow. That's so impressive. Obviously nobody tuned. Obviously. Who wants to see crap like that? Like, you can't think of anything except like, it's Batman but like a lesbian woman. And yeah, and we have a Star Trek show, which is like, not like Star Trek, except there's a gay couple, which was intended to be introduced in Star Trek The Next Generation in 1987, but the studio was against it at the time. Paramount, I think. Their channel was... No, they didn't start their UPN channel yet. Anyway, when it wasn't syndication, the guy who left the show, I don't remember his name. He wrote an amazing Babylon 5 episode in the first season we called Believers. I forgot his name. Anyway, he wrote a story about a gay couple in 1987, and he was basically kicked off Star Trek. Not by Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry didn't know anything about it. He already had his memory issues, his health issues, and Gene Roddenberry at the time also wanted Picard to explain love to Wesley as when a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman, and the network people just laughed at Gene Roddenberry when he tried that in early TNG. Yeah, they wanted to introduce it back then, and now Star Trek has a gay couple 32 years later, and that's why we should like Star Trek, except it's not Star Trek and it's completely crap. And we had 2 seasons. First had 15 episodes, second had 14 episodes, and these 2 seasons had the plot of about 5 episodes in total, and the rest was Michael Burnham crying, or people crying about Michael Burnham, or nothing happening for an hour. In the next episode, nothing was happening for an hour, and then there was a plot twist that didn't make any sense, and then nothing happened for an hour, and you were just watching, thinking, oh, what is the point of this? It's like the crappiest show on the planet, but it leads back to the same premise I said, that left-wing oriented media was very successful in the George W. Bush years, so after Donald Trump was elected, they felt they needed to saturate the market with low-quality crap like that, thinking that everybody who doesn't like Donald Trump will like low-quality crap oriented at them. No, I generally don't like low-quality crap. What a surprise. I don't like low-quality crap. What an unusual person I must be to not like low-quality crap. Wow. It's so shocking. Wow, like people in Hollywood must be really surprised. What? People don't like low-quality crap? What? We totally expected people to just pay lots of money for low-quality crap. No? I kind of like stuff with quality. I'm sorry, there must be something wrong with me. I like things with quality. I don't know. Must be a unique quirk in my personality that I like to watch things that don't give me gastroenteritis symptoms. I guess that must be it. Like, I have this unique quality to my own personality that if I watch things, I don't want to be having diarrhea and vomiting. That's how I roll. So, if I watch Star Trek Discovery or Star Wars The Last Jedi or Captain Marvel, that kind of is so extremely bad that it makes me want to vomit and have projectile diarrhea in all directions. But Hollywood thought I would totally love that. Yeah, I kind of don't like those physical symptoms. I'm sorry, that's just how I am. And apparently that's how a lot of people are, because yeah, that's how you got to Dark Phoenix. Bombing, Justice League a year earlier, Men in Black International, and Terminator Dark Fate. And you say stuff about feminism and inclusion, diversity, and all that stuff. Like, you try to play to the audience of politics, and just forget to play to the audience of people who want to see a movie that doesn't suck. Yeah, you kind of forgot that demographic of people who pay an insane amount by now for theater tickets. Like, when I was a kid, I paid 1/5 of what I pay now. Pay an insane amount for theater tickets to see a movie that's complete garbage. Like, no, I don't want that. And lots of other people don't want that. Otherwise, they would have paid for Dark Phoenix, or they would have paid for Terminator Dark Fate. If I wanted to pay money to see a crappy movie, I would have done it. But I don't want to pay money to see a crappy movie. I don't. So all those movies bombed because they saturated the market with those crap movies with the sole idea of aiming at people who don't like Donald Trump. Who cares? First of all, I'm not American. And you're aiming for the international box office, of which believe it or not, most people are not American. Most people outside America are not American. So if you're aiming for the international box office, you can't think on American terms. And I have even less reason to give a shit about Donald Trump than Americans do, because I'm not American. I don't have a stake in it. And oh man. And even Americans, it's like you have 2-term limits. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you have a president you don't like, the maximum is 8 years. Nobody liked George W. Bush, but who cares? You have a 2-term limit. It's not like it's permanent, and there's no monarchy. So who cares? Like, presidents come and go, you can't aim to that. And the whole point about good movies is that they have rewatch values. Like, what's the point of a movie or a TV show if I watch it in 10 years and it doesn't make any sense anymore because it's not relevant anymore? Like, they try so hard to be relevant right now. And if you watch it again in 10 years, you're like, okay, none of this makes any sense. This made sense 10 years ago. None of this applies anymore. It's all current day stuff. That's just stupid. If you compare, like, the first 3 Star Wars movies, they're still good today. Or Star Trek, the original series. Even if you go by political messages, like, if you had a Star Trek TOS episode like A Private Little War, it's about proxy wars, which still happen today in Yemen, Syria, or West Africa, or right now in Venezuela, or in certain ways in Chile and Bolivia, and many parts of the world. And they happened for hundreds of years. Like, one of the defining moments of my country's history was the 30-Year War, which was a proxy war of European powers on German soil, where all powers in Europe fought a war against each other on German soil, supporting different sides in the divide between Catholics and Protestants after the Reformation of Martin Luther, and boring history stuff. And proxy wars, it always applies. It's always relevant, and that's how you make, like, a lasting franchise. If you go for issues that have a lasting value instead of just going complete current events. And if in 10 years anybody watches these movies with all your political messaging, it's like, none of this applies anymore. This doesn't make any sense anymore. And but it's not just in 10 years that people are going to say this is completely dated. It's right now that people are going to say, okay, this might be interesting right now, but if I buy the DVD, it's no longer going to be interesting. So why bother in the first place? And that's how it happened. 2019, the whole Hollywood industry is crashing. You had Dark Phoenix, you had Men in Black International, Charlie's Angel, Terminator, Dark Fate. It's crashing. Everything is bombing. All their low quality crap is bombing. And how do people go from there? Like, people spent the last 3 years since The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel and all that crap talking about all this bombing shit in Star Trek Discovery. Don't get me started on Star Trek Discovery. Every time I start on Star Trek Discovery, this video is already 20 minutes long, because every time I think of Star Trek Discovery, I just want to digress and talk about how much it sucks. God, it sucks so much. It's the worst TV show in history, easily. It sucks so much. Oh, it's so bad. And this video gets longer and longer because every time I think about Star Trek Discovery, I just want to rage about how much that show sucks. Like, who wrote that crap? Who thought that crap was a good idea? I was going to talk about movies. This video is about movies, not about Star Trek Discovery, no matter how much Star Trek Discovery sucks. Yeah. So how do all these groups go from there? Like the Fandom Menace group, like obviously it's a lot of right-wing channels. They're just going to do their political stuff. Like channels like Geeks and Gamers, it's more about the politics than the actual content of the films or the quartering there are some channels who are just more about politics than the actual content. They're just pretending to be fans of something to talk about politics, and they're just going to continue talking about politics. But what about all the channels who are really fans of the franchises, for who the politics only comes secondary, like Nerdrotic or Macarandom or Doomcock, I guess, or all those channels who talk about the franchises first and the politics just comes secondary. Where are they going to go? It's interesting to think about, and it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to develop after this crash, how the Fandom Menace, how it's going to develop after this crash. Because the channels, they have a lot of cool videos, especially Nerdrotic. Like Gary is one of my favorites. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops after the big crash of 2019, because Hollywood, the way it is, it's done. It's done. After so many bombs, it's done. They're going to have to regroup. They're going to have to rethink, regroup, start over, start from scratch, start from square one, tear down everything they believed in, and restart the industry from the bottom level, because they lost so much money on all that crap they did, thinking it would be easy money, and it wasn't, because nobody wants low quality crap movies. They thought it would be easy money, and they had one bomb after another and took a serious toll. And now Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is out, and right now it's struggling to get near Justice League at the box office. It's going to be a complete failure unless a miracle happens. And it's a disaster for Hollywood, but it's a predictable disaster if they thought they could get away with all that low quality crap. It's completely predictable, and it played out exactly as predicted. And now we are where we are. Hollywood crashed. It crashed. It's dead and gone. They have to restart. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, and they start another low quality route and try another snake oil salesman way of just building a lot of hype with a crappy movie, which never works. Not going to work. Or if they are going to focus on more focused, more quality content again. And it's going to be interesting to see on YouTube where YouTubers go, because movies like The Last Jedi or Captain Marvel, they are not going to happen anymore. They're not. I mean, make all the predictions you want about the next Thor movie, Love and Thunder, about how woke it's going to be. I'm sorry, but it's not going to happen. They saw all the billions they lost in total. It's not going to happen. Not unless they want to be on food stamps. executives, Hollywood executives on food stamps, it would be a nice mental image, but it's not going to happen. And that's the problem of the more right-wing, the more political channels, that they firmly believe that Hollywood is going to continue to go woke and get broke, blah, 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 blah. And it's not going to happen because they lost so many billions on all their bombs. They know they can't deliver garbage like Dark Phoenix and Men in Black International and Terminator Dark Fate anymore. They know they can't deliver shit like that anymore. They know that. So that's not going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how YouTube and all the channels I like are going to develop, because some of them may predict that, oh, there's going to be more woke movies, but yeah, it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. They don't want food stamps. Seriously. The industry crashed. They have to regroup. They have to start from scratch. So, no more woke movies, don't worry. Yeah. So now that it happened, like, Terminator was already the sign that it's over, but now we see the box office numbers of Rise of Skywalker, and it's struggling to even get close to Justice League. Like, the numbers seem big, but not compared to the budget. And this whole shit is failing. And we'll see how it goes from there. Hopefully, they decide they will go for more quality. Probably not. It's Hollywood. But hopefully. We'll see how everything develops from there.